Hey guys, welcome to TKMR Gaming. I'm Dran, and today we're taking a look at something a little bit different. Those of you who have known me for a while will probably know that I'm a big fan of visual novels, and pretty much since we started the channel I've been really wanting to kind of experiment with visual novel content, just because I enjoy it so much, but I've not really found a way to do that. I've not really found a way to produce that kind of content in a way that I was satisfied with. But today we're going to just try this. It's the demo version for, as you can see on the screen over here, Sound of Drop Fall into Poison, which I believe is also known as Shizuku no Oto in Japanese. And it's supposed to be like a small horror visual novel by, as you can see here, Aiueo Company, which is a relatively new Japanese doujin group, and it's supposed to be being published in English and translated into English this October, I believe, by Sekai Project. So I figured this was a good way to kind of get a feel for how visual novel content works, and just to have a little fun with it ahead of the full game coming out, and just to kind of check out the game as well, because I was thinking about checking this one out. Anyway, I guess I'll just get started. Before she realised it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Manten Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays. She watched a jellyfish. Finally, she decided it was time to go home. What is with this music? Holy crap. It's really creepy. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. Well, the girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being opened just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it. So going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. Okay. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this an exhibit? Okay, this music is... I don't know what it is about it. That vocal part, it just really creeps me out. She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in mid-air. The entirety of the room was a fish and their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Wait, the fish are literally swimming through the air? Wasn't there originally a deep-sea fish booth that was shut down? Oh, what is this? The inside of my eye? Those look like veins. Or perhaps... yeah, I think they're veins. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she'd gotten home after all of that. But more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water, she couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red colour. What? She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out, and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in... Oh, she jumped out the window. Her room was on the 12th floor of their apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. This girl is crazy. Oh. Drop, drop. Drip, drip. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drip, drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. And that one stops in midair. That single drop. I stopped it with both hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. Okay, so she jumped out the window and is now bleeding out. I don't... What's going on? And now we're in a school, because why not? Oh, wow, this is interesting. Or at least that's an urban legend that goes like that. Talking about Mountain Aquarium again? That's your new thing, isn't it? So, from what I've read of the description, Mayumi, I think this girl on the left here, is the protagonist. And this girl here, I forget her name, Himeno, as her best friend. While stuffing her lunch into her mouth, Tamagawa Himeno spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. That's right. Isn't this the scariest part? That the girl jumped to her death, smiling after coming back from Mountain Aquarium? It's pretty bad. Oh, okay, so that was a ghost story. Got it. Yet you don't seem in the least bit scared, Himeno. That's not true. I've got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. Hey, that's my meatball! During a break in the conversation, Himeno stole a side dish from my boxed lunch. This minced meat from growing calves and little piglets. It's the best. Why do you have to put it like that? Jeez, why do you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give you the rest of it. I wonder if that was her intention. I also guess Mayumi doesn't like the thought of like thinking of the animals her meat comes from. Alright, I'll take it. Himeno takes the rest of the meatballs from my lunch with amazing rhythm. The reason that I, Nakanobe Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't because Himeno's story scared me. Mountain Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Ooh, interesting. Of course, Himeno has no idea about that connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Mountain Aquarium around me again. At the same time, I'm afraid that this thing might cause Himeno to stop talking to me. Himeno is pretty much my only friend. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering middle school, just that the only person I can actually call friend is Himeno. Seriously, I think this whole Mountain Aquarium rumour obsession is getting to be a bit much. Maybe. There's so many rumours though. Like, there's a man's ghost in the tanks, that the deep sea fish booth is only open on a full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that you can hear crying from behind the tanks. Ah, that earlier one goes with this one also. No, that's fine. You don't need to say any more. And I'm guessing the aquarium is the key setting, I guess, or location for the game. I say firmly, causing Himeno to make a sour face. Soon after, Himeno changes the subject. First to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails of cats that she found on a magazine. She She then talks about a classmate who was dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally the subject of Mountain Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. I am so bad at talking today. Huh? What exactly are we getting back to? Mountain Aquarium. I looked into it, and this Sunday will be a full moon. Huh? That was all I could say, the rest of my words unable to come out. So we should go and see if the rumours are true or not. But... I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu, but next week we'll start preparing for the end of semester, and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? If the full moon was next Sunday, I'm sure Himeno wouldn't have said anything. But I suspect it happens to be this Sunday and the next week happens to be her exams. She's chosen Mountain Aquarium. I know that I'm not hiding my confusion or hesitation very well. Even so, Himeno turns her carefree grin my way. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumours aren't true, we can still have fun, right? Well, that's true. Usually anywhere I go with Himeno I have fun. Whether or not we'd have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Mayu, in the east building of Mountain Aquarium, they have a Häagen-Dazs. A Häagen-Dazs? As in the ice cream brand? As in the Eat-In restaurant? Okay, so it's a restaurant named after an ice cream brand. They had closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Really? Really? You have the cookies and cream flavour you like too, Mayu? Okay, this is definitely the ice cream brand. Of course I hesitate, but in the end that settles it. Then, we'll go, as long as we definitely get some cookies and cream. Saying that you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know, after all I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine, fine. In the end we settle on Mountain Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday. Since I've already received my reward money for moving on to the next grade, I don't need to worry about my allowance. Reward money? Must be an Asian thing. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, Maya? Nope, nothing. I bit my tongue, covering the words that I'd carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. That's not true. It's the truth. That's the only thing I'll eat there. Himeno goes, "You little," as she playfully stretches my cheeks. The end of lunch chime sounds, and Himeno goes back into her own seat. If it's with Himeno, I'll be fine. That's what I told myself at the time. Okay. So we're going to the haunted aquarium to investigate. Or mostly for the ice cream, I think. Oh, the station? Sunday is 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Himeno to a Mountain Aquarium has arrived. We are to meet at noon at the Mantencho station. As is customary for me, I arrive 30 minutes early. Leaning against a pillar, I do nothing but space out. Oh, that's a cute outfit. Tons of people pass before me. Mountain is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of middle schoolers, everyone around me appearing to be adults. Because of that, I quickly begin to feel uneasy. Within this crowd, I am alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Himeno will be here soon. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandal boots that were this year's newest product. When Mum and I had stopped off at the department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They're pretty cute shoes as well. They were far from what you'd call high quality, but they were still a bit pricey on a middle schooler's allowance. I'm not usually the type to beg, but I couldn't take my eyes off of these boots. My mum bought them with almost no resistance, saying, "You're going out of town, so you need to look your best." Thanks, Mum! I liked both their form and their colour, and found them a better fit for the summer season than anything else. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There's still 15 minutes to go until we're to meet. Since Himeno is always 3 minutes later than the time we establish, I've got about another 20 minutes. I finish reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with. There's nothing I can do about it, so I decide to keep myself from boredom by watching the people passing by. If I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. Horrible thoughts? I'm always worrying about what will happen if I'm late though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Himeno and I had gone out. We always talked at school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spend my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often, but lately that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked what I do when I stay home, I usually just say I do nothing. Doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Himeno, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights, or about how she travelled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on the already limited days we have off tends to make me think, even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. In other words, something like this is the difference between Himeno and I. Without much common ground between us, why we became friends is... Suddenly the light faded from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but that I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. But rather than sweating it, I got a little mad. Sorry. God damn it, Himeno. Hearing my wordless protest, Himeno pulled her hands away. I get playing the Who Am I game while covering someone's eyes, but covering up someone's mouth too was just like Himeno. It sounds like, you know, what you do to someone when you don't want them to scream out. A little rapey. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Himeno just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Maya. Oh. Instead of apologising, Himeno blew on the nape of my neck. Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but the pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. Well, that's a relief. The culprit who had surprised me moves in front of me before I realise it. You're mean, Himeno. But I got to hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, As I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon. Our agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. That's rude. Jeez. I'll make you make a weird noise again. Saying that, Himeno opens and closes her fingers in small, swift, grasping motions. At times like this, I know I had better change the subject or get messed with by Himeno again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yes, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around the midterms, Maya. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You're still finding out about the urban legends then? Of course. That's my #1 goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. And anyway, Maya, aren't your sandals new? Himeno says as she looks at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. And that's why I'm having trouble speaking, I guess. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute. How cool, I want a pair too. Nope, they won't be too similar. And these are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this, it puts me at ease. Yeah, I mean, I still think horrific things are about to happen when we get to the aquarium, so this feels like a calm before the storm type, like, you know, light-hearted slice of life almost scene. Unlike myself, who is childish, Himeno knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manten, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly, by being with Himeno and constantly chatting, I no longer feel lonely. Oh yeah, Himeno. Why did you bring such a huge bag? I'm glad you asked. With a hehe, Himeno opens up the Boston bag she lets sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things come out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, a first aid kit, matches, and snacks like chocolate and cookies. What is all this? Himeno, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing on my face, Himeno thumps her chest. Geez, to the aquarium! But since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me of more going camping in the mountains. The snacks and blanket aside, where in a city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? I keep those feelings to myself and just smiled. I let out a breath that is half exasperated, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Himeno. Whether Himeno is aware of my exasperated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile implying some secret. No wait, it's too soon for you to see that. What is it? What were you about to pull out? I'm not telling. Upon saying that, Himeno quickly closes the bag. The way I see it, it is a wonder she fed all the supplies she had out just a moment ago. I wonder where it's all being stored. It's like a TARDIS. By the way, no club today? I ask with the underlying question of whether or not today is a day off for the club. And my question, Himeno averts her eyes. Nope, probably. No club today. Really? Giving a brief answer, I start walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I merely quicken my pace. I'm not in any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for her club, as she seems to be respected even by the students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty though. Once I get thinking, I don't usually stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Oh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? You caught that? Oh, it's like a family restaurant in here. Feeling as if she had seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. Oh, it's a cafe. Okay. I guess ocean cruising is more of a name for a cafe than a family restaurant. It is apparently famous following its coverage in a magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because unexcitedly finding the restaurant, Himeno shared this. So it's the kind of thing that Himeno reads, but Mayumi is not very knowledgeable about such matters. Got it? Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trendy to me. But since I'm with Himeno, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have been feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervour, Himeno eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small bites. Well then, how about our plans for today? Himeno starts in as soon as we finished eating. We'll start with the aquarium. No matter what, that's the main thing. So we'll look into the old man's ghost and the closed off deep sea fish booth rumours. After that, we'll go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to go get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you'll mess up your stomach and get fat. You won't be able to wear a bathing suit. Himeno, it's not fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Himeno is in the exercise club, so she'll be fine. But for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it is all the more important. Okay, then we'll stick with my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Himeno, I decide to leave the ice cream shop for another time. What does that say? NGC Kodomo? Okay, that's the that's a reference to the cell phone brand, right? NTT Docomo? I don't know. Talking about silly things together, we leave the station behind. As opposed to the station's excellent cooling system, the city streets have a peculiar humidity and heat to them that envelops our bodies. The beginning of July. Summer has only just begun, and I can already tell it's going to be a tough one. We weave our way through the crowds until we're 10 minutes away from the station, finally ending up in front of a skyscraper. It sounds really weird saying that we weave. The alliteration is too much. The building is a symbol for the people of Manton, a combined facility for commerce, what you might call a fashion building in reference to the businesses it contains. Manton is a town known as a place people go for amusement. If you really want to have a good time, they have a movie theatre, arcades and several shops, though you need to have money. Because of that, young men and women are more numerous than boys and girls. In this town of people older than us, Jimeno scans the panels for each floor without fear, saying, the aquarium is... People are concentrated around the panels. Wow, that's a big, apartment building. Of little help to Jimeno in trying to take up as little space as possible, I leave the search to her and gaze up at the building. I look up and up, but the top of the building is so far away I think my neck will snap. That's magnificent. This building was built not long after I was born. It had been finished before I could walk, but the first day and only time I came here was in elementary school. The instant I think back on my first visit, my head begins to hurt. Oh. What the... No, I have to try not to think about it. Think about what? What the hell happened there? Is that the previous experience with the aquarium she mentioned? Those are things from long ago, things from the past, things that are done. I can do nothing but deal with the pain that feels as if something is pressing against the inside of my skull. I finally hear Jimeno calling me in a loud voice. The elevator's this way, come on! I push away my headache and step through the automatic door. The information at the entrance and the placement of the crane game are exactly the same as that day, giving me a slightly bad feeling. What happened that day? Well, here's the place we just saw in that flashback. From the elevator landing, we need to head for the top floor of the separate Manton East building. The elevator is a type that has a glass window so you can see out. That is the only thing that's distracting me from my gloom. A crowd of people get on with us, but almost all of them are gone by the time we reach the floor that contains the aquarium. They probably stopped off at the apparel or sundries shops. It isn't that we aren't interested, but Jimeno recommends it's crowded now, so let's come back when it's less busy. And that keeps us back, deciding to stick with the plans we made back at the coffee shop. Thanks for watching, guys. That's part 1 of what will be a 3-part series of videos on the Sound of Drop demo. I'm still trying to work out the best way to do these Let's Read videos, but please bear with me in the meantime. If you've got any ideas about ways I could improve it, then let me know in the comments below. And until next time, thanks for watching. Have fun. Let me show you around. Is this guy hitting on me?